Stop the rebuild. Because let me tell you, these kids are on fire. Welcome to the ArmChair GM Podcast.
Well, the Flames have been absolutely on fire, like Chris said earlier, so far this year. They're 4-0 to start. They really only had one bad period in Vancouver to start. And then since then, they've been playing really good, really exciting hockey. And I think everybody in Calgary and, Flames fans across the country are really excited. Even those of us who are on Team Rebuild are just, I don't know about Chris, but for me, I'm firmly on Team Rebuild, and I just am so happy to see like the kids are playing well, the vets are playing well, everyone's happy. It seems it's really exciting, and I mean, you can cheer for wins no matter like. Obviously, I'd like the Flames to draft high, but it's hard not to cheer for wins.
100%. I've cheered for every goal. I've pumped my fist. Just like we're a contending team. I mean, there's no reason not to. It's an exciting brand of hockey they're playing right now, and we still firmly believe that the wins are going to be few and far between rolling through the season. Once teams kind of get caught up and get rid of the off season jitters and rust and all that fun stuff. But while it's here, why not ride it? It's been a good time. I mean, when you check this out, right? Like how many times do we get to say that after the first week we're number one in the league? Like, is that
well, it's been
normal
15 years. It's been like 15 years from what I remember. I think 15 years ago was the last time we were 4-0 to start, and I don't even know if we were first at that point. But
yeah, and
those were the Gimla and Camilleri days.
Yeah, did we make the playoffs that year? I don't think so.
I yes. I can't remember how good we did, but I'm pretty sure we made the playoffs.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's like I said, it's really hard to not cheer for wins. I'm having a blast watching the games. I know we've got a bunch of buddies who are really worried about the future when it comes to these wins and how it's going to affect our draft pick this year with all those conditions and all that type of stuff. And if we're going to extend some of the vets instead of trading them because we're doing well and they want to stay or whatever, but I'm not so worried about that. I think Craig Conroy has a plan and is going to stick to it because honestly, like no matter how much fun this is and it's great to watch and all that, it's not realistic for this team to be a contender, right? And
No,
the goal is for the Flames to be a sustained competitive team for many, many years in a row, not just a one-off great season because the vibes happen to be really good. That like the vibes are great this year. That's one thing that's really interesting to talk about right now, I think.
Yeah. Some say they're immaculate.
Some would say. I don't know who.
I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things, as a sports fan, even knowing that you're in this weird rebuild, retool, whatever you want to put a label on as, you really get excited for the wins because like in normal times those wins don't come that often, and if you can start the season 4-0, hell yeah, you're excited about it, right? And I'm more excited for the just the different scenarios that have happened to get us to those wins. You see somebody like Coronado just outright hustle his ass off to pass Bedard he covered what looked like 10 feet in between the two blue lines just to get to that puck for an empty net goal. Like that's the effort you're looking for. That's what you want to see. You want to see results, and you want to see progression from all these kids. And Coronado had himself a hell of a game against the Blackhawks. That was
Honestly,
really fun to watch. He did really well.
I totally agree, and I think he had a real like two really good games, both of the games that he played. Um, I do want to touch on that goal you were talking about because most of the time, empty netters are just empty netters, right? They're a
Mhm.
flip from the other side of the ice, or they're a dump that happens to hit the net, or a clapper from the center ice, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
They're not usually super hard worked for, but when you work that hard for a empty netter, that shows a lot.
Mhm.
And I think part of that is because we have some guys we'll touch on later who really drag the rest of the team into the battle, and that's really awesome to see. Uh, but when it comes to Coronado, I totally agree with you. Like this kid is working so hard. I don't think he deserved to not start the season, but I think he's proving now that he's gotten his chance to be in, even though he's got limited minutes on the fourth line, playing with
Mhm.
Lomberg and Kirkland, who are both playing out of their minds right now. Um, but even though, maybe not the most skilled players he's playing with, but Coronado's
He's-
working hard, skating way better than he skated at all last year,
Yeah.
and working hard for everything. And it's just really good to see that. You know, we talk all the time
He-
about our young players and wanting to see them progress and wanting to see them develop. And you're seeing that with a few of our guys right now, like whether it's him or Wolf or
Mhm.
Zardy or whoever else, right? Like pretty much all of our young guys are developing. I think Hanzek is over his head a little bit, but I think he's got all the time in the world to start developing, right? He's only 19. He
Yeah.
turns 20 in November, I believe. So he'll be
Yeah.
in the minors soon, I think.
Yeah, and the way the teams or the way Huska's kind of rolling out the lines right now, he's definitely evening things out between third and fourth and first and second lines. Like if you look at shifts against the Blackhawks, Coronado played a full minute more than his line mates, and right around the same as Pospisil, Kuzmenko, and Honzek on the third. So Huska trusts him to put him out there in different scenarios, even if he's not there with his line mates, which is a good sign.
That's a
But what's
great
a better
sign.
sign? What's a better sign to me is Coronado is absolutely making the most of the opportunity to play these games. He's come in, he's busting his ass, and he's essentially proving to Huska that he's the guy for the job, and he's going to have to find somebody else to bounce in and out of the lineup when he's going to put forth that kind of effort.
Yeah, and I mean, it's probably the best uh, choice or challenge that a coach of the Flames has had to make
Mhm.
in the last few years. But I don't know.
Yeah,
There's not really anybody other than maybe Hanzek who doesn't deserve to be in the lineup, and I don't even think Hanzek doesn't deserve it. I just think he's
he,
probably the guy for a
yeah,
couple
yeah. He'll
reasons.
be the
Whether
odd man out. He'll be
Yeah,
the odd
whether
man
it's
out.
his
I would think.
waiver ineligibility or you know just getting top flight minutes and developing a little bit better down in the AHL or whatever it is. Maybe he gets a couple days off and just sits in the press box and learns. Like it's
Yeah,
just so
yeah,
good to see our
absolutely.
young players step up and play better than they ever have. And
Yeah,
Wolf also. I don't know. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit later. But holy smokes!
yeah. He's played pretty good in his couple of games that he's played so far at the Dome. I think when it comes to I honestly think that Honzak will be the next guy coming out and getting Klapka back in the lineup maybe in the next couple of games there, and I think that would put Coronado as an easy slot to go up to the third line and play with Pospisil and Kuzmenko, and then
Pospisil
we can.
and
Is, it,
Pospisil
Kuz,
and Huberto, you mean?
is that who he's playing with? I thought
No,
who's
Kadri and
sending.
Kuzmenko are playing together.
Yeah, you're right too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's who Honzek is playing with.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because he's not putting up a lot of minutes though, so I think he's being cycled through
Yeah,
a little bit. So who's playing on the third right now? We got Backlund, Coleman, and who's with him
Connor
right now?
Zary.
Right. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but I do think that they've cycled some of those young guys through all of those spots,
Mhm.
and also they've cycled Mantha a little bit through some other lines, just because whether it's time of the game or whether maybe after Honzek got rocked there, maybe he was a little shaken up, who knows, but they started really cycling people through there a little bit.
Yeah. And why not, right? This is the time to do it, and it's not affecting the play on the ice at all, in my opinion. That they're easily transitioning players in and out of different lines, and they're showing chemistry with each other. You can tell that it's a good tight group right now, and the mood is very good in the locker room because they're working well together and for each other. It's nice to see. I hope they can keep going with the trend of just the camaraderie between all the line and all the lines and all the players at the moment.
That seems like such a silly thing to say. You know what
Right?
I mean? Like, obviously the Flames have had a couple of years where that hasn't been the case.
Mhm.
It's been tough to watch and tough to see, but it is great to see. Like you said, everybody in the dressing room seems to be getting along great, and they all want to play for each other, and they all want to play for the coach, which is huge.
Yeah.
I heard some analysts talking the other day or yesterday talking about how the early favorite after 4 games for the coach of the year is Huska, and I'm like, well, that makes sense. He's 4-0, but let's pump the brakes a little bit, like
Yeah,
Naz would say.
let's have this conversation in February, right?
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
honestly, like, I think knowing where everybody had Calgary to start, I think even if we like just missed the playoffs, he would be a coach of the year
Mhm.
candidate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
After all of the vibes, the bad vibes that have been around the team for the last couple of years,
yeah.
that he got everybody playing for him and playing for each other. And man, those blocks by Kirkland at the end of the game the other day.
Wasn't that awesome? That was awesome.
They're
And
just smiling his whole
it,
way through it, and got
yeah, in
interviewed
a nothing game.
after the game and said, "Oh, it didn't even feel bad. It felt really good." Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Yeah, yeah, liar.
Yeah,
Yeah, like in a nothing game against one of the league's worst teams at the moment on a Tuesday night, and he's just that was awesome. That was really fun to watch.
yeah.
I mean,
And
the back-to-back blocks there where he did on that, in that last minute or 2 minutes, whenever that was pretty awesome.
Corey
And of course,
Sarich was
everybody's
talking
happy,
about
right?
it too. He was just like,
Because you know what
"This."
makes people happy, as far as teammates and individuals, winning fucking games. So if they're gonna, and they're not even like close games. Like they're handedly winning games, other than obviously the opening night against Vancouver. But like they're doing everything they can to win. They're getting results, so everybody's in that good mood, and everybody's willing to put in a bit more effort on their next shift when all the results are coming, right?
That's so important, man. It's so important, and I'd be interested to see how this team plays and how games progress when things start badly, because whether the team is first overall or not, like at the end of the year, even the first overall team had bad stretches, right? Like you look at Edmonton last year, they made the Stanley Cup Finals and they started terribly. They had a really, really terrible start, and and I think it's all about how you pull through that kind of adversity too. So be interested to see.
Yeah, that'll be the true test on the character of the guys in the room, right? Is, if they have a stretch of, 3 losses, 4 losses, 5 losses, whatever, how is that going to impact their mood, their play on ice, just their attitude towards, playing in Calgary or whatever the situation may be. We all know that can turn on a dime depending on what the situation is for some players. We watched it last year with Markstrom. He was having a great season. Things went south there at the trade deadline, and then he turned up to be kind of a bit of a pouty menace in the room. And so it's anything can happen, but that's where we'll see that true test and see where we're at once they start losing some games. I mean, who knows at this stage they may never lose again.
I'm hearing a lot about that, and wouldn't that be fun? We may never lose again.
Yeah, just circling it back to Daryl Sutter. The quest for the Stanley Cup starts now. The puck's dropping for the 24-25 season. Get in on all the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. If you're new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
I want to talk about Jonathan Huberdeau for a little bit.
Okay.
I'm curious what you have to say about him, because you know what? Go for it.
Jonathan Huberdeau, I feel like something happened in the summer. Whether he had some counseling from professional or a mentor or something along those lines, but his attitude appears to be different. He's he's always been that kind of guy that smiles a lot. We haven't seen it in Calgary very much. He had it in Florida. Obviously, everybody's happy when it's 25 plus every day of the week as well. But he's playing a different game, and it's fun to see. He's way more responsible in our own zone right now. He's forechecking hard. He's more engaged for sure. And that's all without playing with who I think he should be in a natural sniper, and that's Sharon Govich. So I'm really excited to see what his attitude is if they end up even putting Sharon Govich with him, because I mean at this point, why would you? He's got 3 points in 4 games. He's playing, some of the best hockey he's played for as a Flame.
He's got 5 points in 4 games. 6 points.
Oh, yes.
6 points. He's got 3 goals, 3 assists.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Even better.
3 goals. Yeah. Way to go, Chris. You blew it. Yeah. So I mean, that's it's a new side for him, and obviously he's motivated by points. He kind of always has been. He knows when the points aren't coming, that people are talking about him, and it gets in his head. He gets in his own head. He's his own worst critic, right? So it's fun to see. I hope it's sustainable. as long as he can at least put forth the effort and play more of that 200-foot game that I think he's developing into fairly well.
Yeah.
So I think I'm pumped on him. I want him to be successful. That's the only chance we have of moving forward, whether it be, at a trade at some point or anything like that, or even just be successful for this team. I'm fine with it. So I'm good with what he's doing. I'm excited to see him finally getting noticed for the right reasons.
Yeah. I'm curious, if it's what you said it was, or what it may be. You didn't say it's what it was. You said what it might be, which is
Mhm.
a therapist or a good friend or whatever. I'm curious if it's something like that, or maybe just a combination of things. But my thought is with Jonathan Huberdeau is he's playing with players who fit his style a little better. Um, Remember the last couple of years, I've talked a lot about how he played with Bennett in Florida, who's a
Mhm.
very straight line, physical, up and down the ice sort of player, crash for rebounds kind of player, and that dragged Huberdeau into the fight.
Yeah,
And he's been playing with Martin Pospisil, and doesn't that describe Martin Pospisil to a T?
100%.
Right?
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, and I also think, um, whether it's him playing with Mantha in the past, or not playing with, but training with Mantha in the past, or maybe they're
Mhm.
friends. I don't really know. Um, Whatever it is with them, that seems to be working out pretty good. I also think part of it is Ryan Huska going to Montreal, and like taking a plane down to Montreal to see Huberdeau in the summer. And apparently they
Right.
sat down and talked, and that's where Huberdeau on the penalty came into play. And the penalty kill rather came into play.
Yeah.
And apparently that's it's keeping him in the game when he would otherwise be sitting on the bench a lot.
Yep.
Um, and I think that keeps him more motivated and also more just confident. Like his passes now, he's not second guessing them, and he's getting most of them to where they're supposed to go, and his teammates are getting the puck. Um, for the most part, there's been a couple times that he hasn't, but when you play that type of
Mhm.
game, the odd bad pass happens. It shouldn't happen as much as it happened the last couple years, but it hasn't been, right? It hasn't been this year, and that's been really good to see. He's also getting in front of the net a lot, not
Yeah,
so
he
much
is.
on the power play, but he's getting in front of the net and getting like that. This is the Pospisil effect. Um, he gets in front of the net and gets the rebound and scores, or gets in front of the net and the puck bounces off his shoulder and he scores, or
Mhm.
whatever, right? He's just getting in there and being physically engaged. And him on the penalty kill as well, like his board battling is really, really strong. And
Yeah.
honestly, I never faulted his effort most games over the past couple of years. It's never been an effort thing
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
It's
But the
been
result.
in his head the whole
Yeah.
time. And I think he's out of his head now.
Yeah. And hopefully he can stay out of it. Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully now that he's had a bit of a taste of the success of what it feels like to be on a be with winning attitude at home, on the road. I think that's what he needs, right? He needs to have a winning culture around him. Whether it be the line mates, the players, the coaching staff, the management, everybody, right? It's all a culture, and if they can all continue with a winning attitude, it will serve them well moving forward. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. It's really exciting to see Huberdeau be the guy who we traded for. And I know it's only 4 games. But
Mhm.
it's easily the best 4 games he's played. Like, he's played a couple of really good games for us over the past couple of years, but I think
Mhm.
this is by far the best few games he's played for us. And it's really encouraging. It's really encouraging. Let's move on. How about a little bit of razzle dazzle? Hey, how about that guy?
A little bit of razzle dazzle. I mean, should he just become a forward? No, I'm
I
kidding.
knew you were going to say that. I fucking knew it.
I honestly don't think he should. I still think he has good defensive mindset and skills, and I'm seeing them a lot more so far this year than last year, which is super refreshing because not that I was really down on him per se, but I was kind of down on him. You know, I was like,
You weren't up on him.
needs. I was not up on him.
And I
I
wasn't either.
found
Like, he's one of my
his,
favorite players when he's going, but he hasn't been going for a year and a half until now.
yeah, like last year between the mistakes, and I found him to be quite lazy last year. You know, he wasn't putting in that effort that when he's really engaged and putting in that effort, he's a hell of a force out there. Right. You know,
Absolutely.
when he's doing laps around the opposing team's net and still getting back to his point after that, and you know, you can tell when he's feeling it, when he's energized and he's excited to be playing again, and that's what we're seeing so far through the first 4 games. It's fun to watch.
I think playing with Kevin Ball, kind of a stay-at-home guy, has really helped him do that because,
Mhm.
and like, I liked Ball. I don't, you know, he's got good reach. He stays where he's supposed to be, but I don't know. He's been beat a few times. That happens,
Mhm.
whatever. But I think that having a guy that he knows isn't going to rush in, like he played with Hannafin for how long, right? And Hannafin was behind the opponent's net all the time too. So Raz couldn't really do that. But I found even so Raz was beaten on 2-on-1. I think it was in Edmonton. I can't remember, but where he kind of lost the play a little bit and didn't really read it properly. But other than that, I like you said, his defensive play has been way better. There was one time that I found so far this year that he's really lost himself. And that confidence, that razzle dazzle, as Flames fans are saying, you know, I've seen a lot of fans of other teams be like, "Oh, this guy's a piece of shit. He's always glaring down opposing fans." It's like, and that's just character. Like, it's not bad character at all. It's just him fucking engaging with fans. Like, whatever.
He's giving an off look to fans that are giving him the finger from the stands.
Yeah. Right.
Oh
okay.
No! What a dickhead!
Right.
Like,
But like,
find something else to complain about.
yeah, honestly, when Raz isn't playing well, he doesn't do stuff like that. Even when he scores, if he's like the last couple of years, he hasn't really been doing a whole bunch of stuff like that. But when he's played well throughout his career, he's done stuff like that all the time. And it's just a sign that he's really confident right now. And he's playing well and he's shooting all the time. He deked the absolute balls off of McDavid and scored that
wasn't
nice
that
goal.
nice?
Oh, it was beautiful.
Yeah, couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And just so we're clear, he's also got 6 points in 4 games, 2 goals and 4 assists.
Yeah. All I want to say is to McDavid, that wasn't good enough. He really should have dug in.
Right?
Yeah.
He'll probably come back harder next game.
Yeah.
It starts tomorrow.
Yeah.
Starts tomorrow.
Yeah. No, it's been great to see. And like you said, even beyond the points with Raz, his defense is back, his grittiness is back, and you know, his good stick is back. He's just playing way better than his last year and a half or so, and it's
exactly.
been so good to see.
The points are nice to see. They're secondary, in my opinion, for a defenseman. I mean, his highest season for points was 50 back in 21-22. But I'm more interested in seeing Rasmus Anderson, the defenseman, and get to see how good he can be at that when he's playing on top of his game. And currently we're seeing it again, and it's been nice. It's been about a year and a half since we've seen it.
Yeah, and he's leading the team. I know it's early and the stat is stupid, but he's leading the team with a +7, and his defense partner is second on the team with a +5. That's Kevin Ball.
Which is interesting, right?
Well, when a pair is playing well, generally they do that.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I like about watching Ball play is I find he's really good at getting out of the lane so the goalie can see the shot.
I've actually noticed that about the team this year.
Yeah. Yeah, Bahal has been doing really good at that this year as well. He made that one play against Chicago where he came from behind the net, kind of had to crash in a little bit because he's removing somebody from in front of the net as well, but still maintain the wherewithal to move his body and lift his leg so Wolf can see the shot coming in. I was just like, that right there is stellar defense, and being aware of your surroundings and where you are on the ice. That was nice to see.
It's the difference between boxing
that
out and
play,
screening.
yeah, and after Wolf made the play, first thing he does is tap Bahal on the skate because he saw what he did during that sequence, right?
Yeah,
Just good defense.
absolutely. Well, let's move on to Braden Pahal because I don't think this guy gets the flowers he deserves.
I know.
Like, man, it's so great to go through the team and just talk glowingly about pretty much everybody. And this is like a third pair defenseman who I think could probably play up the lineup easily. I'm a big fan of his game. I know you are too. Physicality, defensive IQ. I know he's not going to light the score sheet all the time or anything like that, but you don't need that all the time. I just think, and he's only 25, so he's still got room to grow. I just think that he's a little bit underrated on our team.
I think he is too. He quietly goes about his business. He's not flashy. He's just hard-nosed defense, right? He's good in the corners. He can play a physical game. He's got a good poke check, but I find he's responsible. He knows where he should be on the ice. He's in the right position to succeed for the most part. And you're right, he is still fairly young. And yeah, I even last year when we were talking about him, I was really impressed with what I saw in his game. And if he can continue to build on that, he's going to be a force. He can be a top pairing or second pairing for sure.
I would be willing to bet, and I'm not going to put words in this man's mouth because he terrifies me, but I would be willing to bet that if Robin Regier had a favorite player on the team, it would be Braden Pahal.
That's interesting. Could very well be, right? As far as how the game is played today, he's the closest match to Robin's game.
Yeah.
Right. Obviously there's certain restrictions on how they're allowed to play the game now, so it's a little bit different. But I mean, and I say this all the time. Regier's always been one of my favorite players. I love watching him play.
Yeah,
I had a huge amount of respect for watching him play.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, you could very well be right, but
the tunnel of doom, right?
Yeah, the Saskatchewan Steamroller. Listen, we all know that going to the game live is way better than watching it on TV. So why not try the Game Time picks? only at GameTime.co. Game Time Picks make it easier to save money on sports, concerts, comedy shows, theater, and everything else. Got all-in-one pricing, which is fantastic, so you know what your upfront cost is right away. You can look at seat views with panoramic. It's got the lowest price guaranteed. The Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticket industry. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Oh, it's game time.
Moving on, let's talk a little bit about Dustin Wolf.
Dustin Wolf.
I know we've kind of touched on him a couple times here, but I think that through 2 games, I'm pretty sure that they're going to keep rolling Wolf and Vladar one game for a little while. But if it were my choice right now, Wolf would be starting way more games than Vladar moving forward. Assuming he keeps up with the play he's had. He's been absolutely lights out. Especially last night, he was just amazing. And one thing I want to point out, and I know I've pointed it out online everywhere. Everybody's probably read this already. But last year, Dustin Wolf made himself look smaller a lot of the time. He would be ducking, trying to look through people's legs to find the puck instead of standing up and trying to look around them. Now, given he's not the biggest dude to begin with, I kind of get it. But this year, he's making more of a concerted effort to stay up and look around people. And now that you pointed it out with Braden Pahal and the rest of the team, pretty much, I think a big part of that is that guys are getting out of his way. And I never really put those two things together, although I have seen them apart. But that's an interesting thing you bring up. But he's seeing more shots, and he also is looking around people, but maybe he doesn't need to do that so much because the team is playing more towards his strength. But
well, and that's key, right? You have that communication between your defenseman and your goalie, because that has to be there. And if they can communicate together and leave him, a lane to see the puck coming in, he's likely going to save it, pretty much every time, right?
If Wolf
At
sees
least the majority
puck
of the time,
and it's not deflected, he's getting it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I felt really bad with that Foligno goal against him, right? I mean, that was such a lucky bounce, right?
It's funny, you know how vicious our fan base can be on goalies?
Yeah, I'm one of them.
I didn't see a single person blame Wolf for that goal. And I think that's the first goal I've ever seen nobody online blame Wolf for, or blame any Flames goalie for.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I don't know
that was just a tough deflection.
Yeah, it had absolutely no chance at it. He
would have had it if he wouldn't get deflected.
If he would have been standing in the right spot, he would have saved it, but we won't fault him for that today.
He was standing in the right spot for where the puck was going.
Well, no.
Until Foligno
he should have been standing where the puck went.
Close from him.
Yeah. If he was standing where the puck went, he would have saved it.
Yes. Thanks, Chris.
But you're right. It was, the chance of any goalie saving that is, it just had to be difficult because, he's played really well. Like I've been kind of harsh on him since, for a couple of years, to be honest. But I'm finally starting to see something out of him right now, and it's great. He's played 2 games. He's got a .944 save percentage, which is really good. But again, it's 2 games, so I hope that he continues it on. And one of the things that I have noticed, and you brought it up, and you're spot on, is he's not on his knees crouching trying to look for stuff. He's able to stand up and react to the actual play instead of react to what he thinks is about to happen. So I think that's going to be key for his game. Like you said, he's not that big, so he needs to find a way to be bigger in the net. And one of the ways you can do that is by staying on your feet. And he's been doing that a lot more this year so far in the 2 games that he's played. Even during preseason, I didn't find him to be that strong. But as soon as the season started, there's 2 games he's done really well.
It was interesting watching him play against Philly. He played against Philly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because him and Fedotov are like opposites. Fedotov's like 6'7", and when Fedotov goes down early, his shoulders are still near the crossbar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he can still make those saves, although he really didn't that game. But in theory, right? But when a guy Dustin Wolf's size goes down early, that opens up half the net. Whereas a guy Fedotov's size, it opens up like an eighth of the net, right? That's a big
and only the top.
Wolf. I don't know if one of the coaches said something. I don't know if he noticed it himself. I don't know what it is, but over the summer, that's clearly something he worked on and is actively trying not to go down early and to look around people instead of in front of people. And the system around him seems to be let him see the puck. Don't always try and block. If you're near the net, don't always try and block it. Sometimes just move out of the way and let him see it. And it seems to be working.
Yeah, unless you're Kirkland, then block it.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't right next to the net. He was like,
I don't know,
out past the dot. Yeah. One last thing I wanted to kind of say about Wolf. For people watching this, like, next time Wolf's in the net, even when a shot isn't coming his way, but the other team is in the offensive zone moving the puck around, specifically when they're on the power play, watch Dustin Wolf. Watch what he's doing. He is fascinating to watch. Well, he's not making a save, but while he's setting himself and how he sets himself, there's very, very few guys in the NHL now that move like he does. And it's really, really fun to watch.
It is fun to watch. You're right. He's super active. When the play's away from him and they're not driving at the net, he has this really good ability at tracking the puck. He knows where it is at all times. He's always watching it.
And he's
Whether it's in
anticipating
the
it
other
as well.
zone, he does. And his movement side to side is really fucking fast. Like really fast. And that's been one of the reasons why he's had such success, right? You have your conventional goalie right now, 6'5", has a wingspan of like 11 freaking feet. And then you put Wolf in there and he gets across the net quicker than a lot of these, big guys that, have very little to move, right? It goes side to side, they're only moving a few inches where Wolf's moving like a foot and a half.
Yeah.
And he gets there fast.
Yeah, exactly. And he's got to be. But I want to mention one thing. It's not only side to side. When you're watching him,
oh yeah.
like a lot of goalies, they'll move side to side quickly, but they won't move side to side and also out or back at the same in the same movement very often.
He's always square to the puck.
He's always square to the puck, and he's always moving out when the puck is further out and moving in when the puck is closer to him at the same time as moving across. Whereas a lot of guys have to do that in 2 movements. He's doing that in 1 movement.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. He's just a fascinating goalie to watch. I'm sold that he will be an NHL goalie. I'm not sold he's going to be an elite guy yet. But if he keeps playing the way he's played this year, he's gonna make a believer out of me real freaking quick.
Yep. Yeah, if he can keep going the way he's playing so far, I'll get on Team Wolf. I have no problem being happy for him to succeed. That's all I've ever wanted. So yeah, absolutely, good on him.
Yeah.
I want to see him, steal the net and make it his. He's doing what Coronado's doing, right? He's forcing the hand to give him more ice time.
Yep. And another thing I want to say too, not just about him and Coronado and Ras and Huberto even, but like I'm going to go down the list right now and tell you all of the players on the team right now who I think are playing so well that the coach should give them more ice. And the problem is that there's not enough ice to give this many people more, right?
Yeah, exactly. Still only 60-minute games, right?
Yeah, like basically, honestly, it's weird because like Coleman's still playing well and Kadri are still playing well, but I wouldn't put those guys in there. And same with Backlund, but like Huberto, Kirkland, Pospisil, Zary, Uyghur, Anderson, Lomberg, like Coronado, even Mantha to a degree, like all these guys, even Jake Bean's been playing really well. Braden Pahal, Kirkland, like all these guys are playing so well right now that it's just impossible to give all of them the ice that they deserve right now.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not. I've found in my opinion, I found Bean to be my least favorite defenseman at the moment, as far as, but I mean, for the most part, it's not really him. It's the other players who are playing really well. I guess I wouldn't necessarily put Maramonov over him. Those two I could,
Yeah.
I could interchange. He's been okay, but he's made a lot of mistakes. Some of them have costed. Most of them haven't, thankfully, because they've mostly been in the other end of the ice.
I haven't seen many. Maybe I'm not saying there haven't been, but I've definitely seen a couple. But I see way more mistakes out of Miramonov and Kadri, honestly.
Yeah.
Not that they play the same position or anything, but
like I'm still tired of watching Kadri. His entire line is changing, and he knows that, but he goes barreling in like he's got an entourage following him in, and he does it. And he's just stranded in no man's land after they take the puck away from him because they won't let him through the wall.
Yeah,
he's back to that this year, and I really thought we were making inroads here, and he was, pushing that sort of play off to the side, because he wasn't doing that nearly as much last year. But these first 4 games, he's back.
He's back to that. He hasn't been playing bad though. I'm not going to say that he's been playing well. He's just been doing that again, which has costed a couple goals against the Flames. But I still think his play in the offensive zone has caused more goals for us than his mistakes have caused against. So actually, I'm curious, even though I'm not high on the stat, where is Nazem Kadri? He is a 0. Yep. He's
he's still playing at a point per game. So I mean, he is doing the right thing when he's in the offensive zone. Once his team gets there, right? He needs to have his team there, and he needs to realize that more when he's streaking up the ice. He'll get better results if he can just dump it in and change, get off the ice.
I think one of the reasons that he played so well with Pospisil last year too is because the same reason that Huberdeau is playing well with Pospisil this year, except for different how do I say this? For like different effects. And it's because Pospisil will just go barreling in and open up that space, right? Now, Naz plays well with that because he goes barreling in as well. And then there's just two guys barreling in, and that scares the shit out of people. And Huberdeau plays well with that because he plays well with extra space.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If he's going to do that with Kadri, then it just makes the hole bigger, right?
Yeah.
And if he can get in and get ahead of them, he can actually move guys out of the way and give Kadri the room he needs. Then he doesn't have to, or hopefully doesn't need or feel the need to go three players, right? You can actually go around players.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't have that much more to add. Like, as of when I loaded up this page here, Anderson was still leading the lead. Yeah, Anderson's still leading the league in points by defenseman. Again, it's only been 4 games, but he's 1 point up on Cale Makar and Seth Jones, of all people, and Shea Theodore, who all have 5.
What a weird group.
Right? Rasmus Anderson, Cale Makar, Seth Jones, and Shea Theodore. That's one guy who should be there, and then a bunch of other guys who shouldn't.
Right. Yeah, like I would have Raz, in the top third, I guess at the bottom of the top third. Sorry, but
yeah,
I certainly wouldn't have him at the top generally.
If he keeps that up, man, that trade value is going to be nuts, or his contract will be nuts. So one of the two.
Either way, Rasmus as a person is going to cost somebody a lot of money.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't have much else to add. Do you have much else to add?
I mean, not a ton. I mean, let's get ready for game on Saturday, right?
Yep.
Seattle's in town. Whoop whoop.
Should be
So,
fun.
yeah, it's been kind of a weird start to the season where play a game 2 nights off, play a game or play another game, right? Do the back-to-back 1 night off in the game and then 3 nights off. So
there hasn't been a lot of flow.
Hasn't been a lot of flow. After the weekend there, when I guess we're going to Seattle, and then when Pittsburgh's in town, then it becomes a little more like a normal schedule. Play a game, an off day. Play a game, an off day to round out the rest of the month. So Seattle, going into Seattle, hopefully we can get another couple of points out of there, and then we'll give the fans something to yell about when they get back to the Dome on Tuesday.
Absolutely. Make sure you check out Rocky Mountain Maniacs, the band that wrote our new theme song. Absolutely loving listening to them. We'll leave a link in the description below. Make sure you let us know how you're feeling about the Flames' hot start, whether you're on team rebuild or not. Let us know how you feel and what you're enjoying or what you're worried about in the comment section down below. Make sure you like and subscribe. Share us with your friends. And cheers. Go Flames, go. What an exciting start.
Whoop, whoop. Go Flames.
Cheers.